at least. And
what's it like for you to know, and I think you talked about it in your statement, that people refer to you as the guy who used a tomahawk to kill his former girlfriend's boyfriend?
I blame the media in one aspect, and I blame the Bethlehem police, because they obviously know that it wasn't a wooden tomahawk. I mean, I mean, they can sit there and publicly say this, but I can't believe they would they would swear that this was what did this to him. I think anybody that just looks at it would it's like, it's just like disbelief. It's like, no, that couldn't possibly have been what was used to do this to this guy. But the police at first said it was like this guy had with a hatchet or something. When you think a hatchet, you think a metal, used to chop wood. Firefighters use them, stuff like that. I mean, and people think that like this man was like, his head was chopped off, or like severed severe, and that wasn't the case. It was a blunt instrument, and I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't really even thought about that stuff. I mean, I'm more out to prove my innocence. I think when people find out more, they find out the truth, they wouldn't even refer to it as that. I mean, hey, any person, I'll tell them, they can come visit with me. I'll show them and go through the stuff. I mean,
Do you have any idea, if you didn't do this crime, who might have done this to Tim Gray?
I don't know who, but through the evidence and through certain things, I believe that it was multiple people, because a woman, Miss Sandra Williams, testified that she heard a loud argument between two males and then a scream, and that contradicts completely what the police and the district attorney's office says when they claim that somebody snuck up behind this man and attacked him from behind. If somebody snuck up behind this man, who was he arguing with prior to that? That eliminates that whole theory as to what happened. I believe that, and based on the wounds on his head, they were to the back left of his head and more like the top area, it would indicate that a person probably did attack him from behind. But if there was one person and he was in the argument with, and he got hits on the back of his head, it would appear that two people did this. And the fact that they said he had no defense wounds, it doesn't make logical sense. I mean, survival instinct would dictate that a person confronted by another person would at least fight back. They wouldn't just let somebody essentially take their life.
What about the alibi that you had in terms of where you were?
Oh, that night I was at home at the time that this happened, which I believe was around 10:15, that area. I had been home the whole night, really, but at that point, at that time, me and my father, we were watching playoffs, baseball. I can remember specific things from the game. It was the Yankees and the Twins. It was game one. I remember the Twins won 2-0. Johan Santana, when he was on the Twins, he pitched a great game. I remember it because Torrey Hunter even robbed a home run from Alex Rodriguez. So, I mean, for them to say, oh, I'm lying, I'm making all this stuff up, well, then how do I know specific things of what was happening in the game that I was watching?
Yeah, but you could have seen that later on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but I mean,
I think that one of the worst things that happened to you, from what I can understand, is that you signed that document.
Right. Oh, it is, because, I mean, it was the worst thing, because it's not even what it is, but they say it's a confession. I think when people hear it's a confession, they automatically throw out everything else and think, okay, this guy said he did it, case closed, it's over with. The problem is everything in it is disproven.
But I have to ask again, why did you sign this document of confession?
Because it was the only way I could leave.
But you didn't leave.
It didn't turn out how I thought, because I was being told it was a fight. It wasn't, there's a man on life support in the hospital. I didn't know that. Even when they brought me back to Bethlehem after all this happened and there was tape, I was in there, and one of the things I was asking him, am I going to jail? Why, I don't understand this. Why am I going to jail if this is only a fight? If this is, and, because they lied to me. They lied straight up. And
you mentioned the cigarette butt.
Right.
That was never, what happened? It was not introduced in the trial.
It was never even collected. It was like when you get to the list of what they, inventory from the crime scene, it wasn't even available. And yet I found, I'm looking at this, and this was, after the trial. I mean, I'm just going back through it, and I spotted this, sitting right near the sliding door under the frame, and there's a cigarette butt sitting right there. And I was thinking, it could have DNA of potentially who did this. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it was Tim Gray's DNA.
But it was never checked out.
Right.
As far as you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I assume if they didn't collect it here, if they didn't inventory it, it was never collected. It was never tested. I know that because the Albany police, or the state police, would have had it inventoried, and there'd been.
Why didn't your lawyers focus on that and try to bring that into the trial?
Because my lawyers didn't even know about it at the time. They didn't know about it until I wrote to them in July or August of '05, after the fact.
And did that become part of your appeal?
No, because I don't even think it can become. But basically, the appeal is based on factors during the trial.
Okay.
Based on, did the prosecutor do something that was unfair, or certain things like that.
Okay.